Okay, my friend, I've got a little tough love for you. You will not find a new role or create a new chapter if you don't know what you want. Plain and simple. So today, that's where we're going to focus. What it looks like to not know what you want, what it looks like to have what you want, what's possible when you know what you want, and a few steps on getting closer to what you want. So let's get started. So let me just talk about two of the women that I've worked with most recently. Both of them were on a job search. Both of them came to me in a very similar situation. Janessa, I have sent out at least 50 resumes, 50, and I've gotten nothing, almost nothing in return. So you can't really be out in the world and not see that to look for a new job for those who are out of work and so forth can take up to a year. And there are horror stories about the ATS systems, which are the automated systems where it's just AI and you put in your resume. I liken it to like, you might as well, back in the day when we used to hand out resumes, this is like as if we were just putting it through a shredder. That's what it feels like, right? So my first question to each of them was, were any of the jobs something that you really, really wanted? And they stopped and they were like, well, not really, but I totally could have done them. Like I could have done them. What do you want, my friend? What do you want? Because universe can tell. So there's a little bit of woo-woo here, right? First, let's go woo-woo. Universe can tell if you don't know what you want and you aren't all in, universe is like, she's not all in. I don't think this is the thing for you. And all the things fall. Okay. Let's take it tactical. If your resume is just, this is all the things I can do, and I could do all the things, I could do it. I could do it. A confused buyer never sells. So if you don't know what you want, all of the potential employers, they can sense that and you're not going to get called in. Okay? So as I said, you might as well be shoving those resumes into a shredder. Now, the other piece of not knowing what you want. You think you know what you want because you know what you have is what you don't want. So I want something that's not this. I don't know what I want, Janessa, but it's not this. So typically it's like, what would you like? What do you want? Like, well, I don't want to work in this industry anymore. And I don't want to work from home, or I don't want to go into the office, or I don't want to like work a million hours anymore. I don't want to do these types of things, blah, blah, blah. Did you hear? That is the things you don't want, not what you do want. And here's how the subconscious works. Your subconscious does not understand the negative. So when we say, I don't want something, you can't help but think of the thing that you don't want. And then your subconscious is like, oh, that's what we're going to go do. So think of, if I said, don't think of a pink squirrel, what just came to your mind? The cutest little pink squirrel that you could think of. Because I said, don't think of it. And for you to not think about it, you first have to think about it. So every time we say, I don't want this, and I don't want this, and I don't want this, your subconscious does not see, hear, and acknowledge the don't. So then she's going to, we're looking for a position in our same industry where we're working tons of hours, so on and so forth. So lots of times I was speaking to a woman the other day. She has her resume and she had a vast experience in event planning, but she wants to go into nonprofit and she wants to go into donor relations and fundraising and so forth, which is a very that's doable, right? That's very similar. But she's only getting callbacks for event planning because as much as she knows that all of her transferable skills, superpowers, and unique knowledge will parlay over to a donor relations type of position, her resume is not pointing at donor relations and fundraising. She does not have it pointing to what she wants. So when we don't know what we want, this is what happens. You look like you're all over the place. I could do all the things for all the people. I could do anything. I could totally do that. I could do that. You're confusing. You cannot articulate what exactly that you're wanting. You cannot create a package, a LinkedIn profile, a resume, or a cover letter if you don't know what you want. Herein lies, I think, the most important. You cannot garner enough enthusiasm to stay the course and do what it takes to transition and move to a new role, a new industry, a level up, whatever the case is. If you don't have the fire, and that's what knowing what you want is. It's like the fire, this is what I want to point to. Now, again, there is leeway there on what that can look like and so forth. It's not like I need to work at this company doing this exact thing and so forth. It is you're pointing, okay? And like I just said, you are then continuously being offered opportunities that look just like what you have, and that is not what you want. You know that for sure, okay? So let's take the two women that I was telling you about that I worked with over the summer. One of them had been out of work for 8 years battling cancer, which is hard. That takes a lot out of you. So by the time she came to me, she had been looking for a long time. And she was in a living situation that she did not enjoy. She was all in I have got to find something. And like I said, Janessa, I sent all the resumes. I've done all the things. I've worked with these recruiters. I've pointed I don't know what's wrong. I'm applying to all these things and I'm not getting them. Now, this woman has 1 college degree and 2 graduate degrees. She comes from academia. She comes from a creative background. And she was looking at roles like administrators, office managers, property managers. Hell, I think she even applied to Starbucks and was getting defeated because no one was saying yes. So she had kind of gone this route. She had been out of work for a long time. So she thought she had to start all over. I guess I'll just have to go in and do the hustle again. She had just turned 50. As much as that sounded exhausting, I just have to pay my dues and I have to start from the bottom again. There was a fear that she did not have the stamina to go back into school and do the work that she needed to do there as a role. She thought she'd been away too long and so forth. And she didn't know then really what she wanted. She knew she wanted a job. She wanted to be able to make an impact and be out in the world again and go and have her own apartment and do all the things and be a grown-ass woman like she is and deserves to be. But she was pointing in like, I could do, it's desperation. And I get that we can get to that place of like, I just need a job, but you have to know what it is that you want to do. Okay. So for her example, if she wanted to really be an administrator, we could have taken her resume and totally revamped it. So it's pointing specifically to all the experience that she has in that way. But that's not really what she wanted. And so through the summer, when we worked together, we stripped away all of those fears. The fear that she couldn't do the work that she had always done. We had to do single belief change and change her beliefs around the concept that she did have what it takes to make a difference in these kids' lives. We did visioning exercises and we put all of her transferable skills and superpowers. We went through all of her past roles and garnered out everything, all those juicy goods that she knew without a doubt that she was freaking going to be a teacher again, and she was going to make the impact that she knew she could. And you can tell from my voice where we started was like, oh my God, Janessa, I could do this. Why aren't they calling me? To shoulders back, back straight, hell to the yes. I deserve the job that I know I can do. And guess what? She applied for and within a week had been hired for a private school and had to move within a week. And she is now doing all the work that she loves and is making the freaking impact that she is meant to have. Okay. Woman 2 came to me. She had worked for 13 years for the same company, had had about 6 different roles within that company, had moved up the ranks. Everyone loved her. She did an amazing job. She was in the biotech field and so forth. And she had reached a point where she was like, I can't do it. I hate everything about this and I need to just be done. And so she was on a break, her own self-imposed break, and was in this place of like, well, I guess I could be a technical writer. Lots of women come to me and they are right on the edge of what they've always done. They can't think of anything that is like 6 degrees away. Heck, they can't even think 2 degrees away. So I was like, do you think you would like being a technical writer? It's like, well, I could do it. If you hear nothing in this episode, just because you could do it does not mean it will be fulfilling, that you will enjoy it, or you will make an impact, or that you'll make a good match. Because on the same place that you want to be able to do the work in the world that you love, your employer wants you to want to be there. And if you're just, I could do this, that's not a good match for anyone. So again, through all of the steps that are in my Igniter program, both of these women worked with me one-on-one. We worked through, again, all the things that they are amazing at that they just don't see because they take it for granted. So I have a way of pulling out all of those goods and seeing all those threads and pulling them together for a very cohesive, this is the work that I want to be doing. In this, we had to break through a limiting belief, was that she didn't deserve to be happy. And that came from a bunch of other stuff that had nothing to do with her work. But it was affecting her ability to go and to seek and to find fulfillment And so we did a single belief change so that we moved that belief. We removed that belief and replaced it with, I deserve to be happy in a role that I love. And also worked on making her realize that she was perfect the way she was in her authenticity, and that she could just show up as who she was as opposed to who she thought she was supposed to be. And she has now turned the tables and is seeking work in nonprofit. Nothing to do with biotech, and certainly not a technical writer. She really thought she needed to be in a related field. She really didn't think that she deserved anything different. And she had been in that role for so long, she couldn't imagine working for others. Knowing what you want is underneath a bajillion layers of conditioning, of shoulds, of fears, of imposter syndrome, of perfectionism. It's kind of a big pile. And in there is that needle in that haystack of your amazingness. And you're like, yep, that's what I want. And that revs my engine so freaking much. That is the work that I do in the world. So here are a few questions to ask yourself so that you can start to uncover what you want. And even if you are gainfully employed and thinking, oh, I love my job, I would welcome you to still ask yourself these questions. So I want you to have a heart-to-heart with yourself. What do you want in a new role? What does it look like? What is possible there? What impact do you want to make? What skills and superpowers and unique knowledge do you want to use? There is an exercise where we go and we have a list of probably 50 different skills that they realize that they have. And then we cross out all the ones that we don't want to use anymore. Not that they won't come up now and again, but we're not focusing there. What kind of organization do you want to work for? Again, this harkens back to last week's episode where I said I have 3 things that I want for every woman: to have a role that she loves and fills her up where she can make her impact, working for an organization that respects her and with people that adore her, and where she's paid her value. So that leads me to the last question. What do you want to be paid? What do you really need? And what do you want? And then lastly, I want you to push yourself outside of that little circle that you've put yourself in. Kind of like my client who was like, I've been in biotech tech type of work for so long. I guess I could be a technical writer. Push yourself. And the way to do that is to go onto the job boards, wherever you go, Indeed, LinkedIn, whatever the case is, read. You could do a search. It does not need to be if it's in this place. It doesn't need to be like that. This is something you would actually apply for. I want you to find 3 job descriptions that will light you up. Like, this would be the best freaking job ever. Sit them side by side. What is common in each of them? Is it the impact? Is it the type of organization? Is it the types of work that you would be doing? Is it the industry it's in? So on and so forth. That gives you so much intel right there, right then. Start getting excited about what's possible. When there's the enthusiasm, the rest will follow. The more you know of what you want, the more confidence will build. When you get very, very clear on what you want, the more it excites you, the more you know you are on the right track. And the more specific you can be, the more confident you will feel. both of these women, when they came out of this program and have come to this is what I want, could easily articulate, this is who I'm looking for, and this is why I am the best person for it. And then again, you can go into interviews, putting out packages, networking with so much more gusto, so much more confidence. What is it, my friend, that you want? And if any of this is hard, and if you still have no idea, or if you feel like you are underneath that giant haystack of limiting beliefs, fears, imposter syndrome, perfectionism, and all the things, I can help you find that needle in a haystack. I would love to help you find your needle in a haystack. I hope you have an amazing, amazing week.